South Africa's ruling party, the African National Congress, has suffered its worst polling result since the end of apartheid more than 30 years ago. It lost key urban areas in local elections, including the capital, Pretoria, and Nelson Mandela Bay. In the final tally, the ruling African National Congress won 54% of the vote, while the main opposition Democratic Alliance Party captured 27%. South African President Jacob Zuma said it showed the country maturing democracy and political diversity. Well, let's get some analysis on this now with Philip de Wet. He is an associate editor at the Mail and Guardian newspaper and joins us now from Johannesburg. Now, Philip, we understand the ANC took a massive hit here, but they are still holding on to government, and by many nations' measure, it is by a large amount. 54% is decent. Certainly not the case by South African standards, though. Do you think the election result here will change how the ANC does business?
Well, there was a time not too long ago when the concern in South Africa was that the ANC would secure a two-thirds absolute majority and be able to change the constitution. Those days are now clearly in the past. There was a time at which the ANC told us that it would govern for the rest of time, that it would always be in government. And I think those days are past. We saw an ANC that was scrambling over the last couple of days just to make sense of what had happened to it, especially in the urban areas. The party has promised that it would engage in introspection now. It has been called arrogant both by opposition and by many members of its own party, members that have drifted away from the mainstream of that party of late. So we do think that things will inevitably have to change, for the ANC at least.
The biggest sticking point here seems to be President Zuma. It comes off the back of the controversy about him using public funds for personal reasons. Do you think that there's going to be any shift in his behaviour at all?
Well, this is the question really on what the party perhaps may do rather than what the president will do. We haven't seen President Jacob Zuma change his ideology or his attitude or his approach through any of the troubles that he's seen over the last term and a half in office. We have, however, seen the ANC split around him. We know that there are two factions within the party at present, one which will try to shield the president from this, one which will argue that this was not a referendum about the president, that this was a collective disaster for the ANC, and another faction that will very much try to make President Jacob Zuma a scapegoat for this result and use this to exit him forcefully and perhaps very soon.
Interesting times ahead where you are, Philip de Wet. Thank you so much for joining us.